You are inside Buchenwald concentration camp, 1944. The air smells of coal smoke, machine oil, and something else. Something the living learn to stop identifying. Around you, hollow men move in silence. They carry steel. They lift iron. They do not lift their eyes. But one man is different. In the corner of a factory that adjoins the camp, a thin man with wire-rimmed glasses is bent over a drawing board. His hands are steady, impossibly steady. While the world around him collapses into ash and bone, those hands are drawing something so precise, so intricate, so mathematically perfect that the SS guards who watch him do not interrupt. They need him. His name is Curt Herzstark. He is half Jewish. He is a prisoner. And the machine he is drawing, the machine the Nazis have ordered him to draw, will one day be called the greatest feat of mechanical engineering of the 20th century. But here is what history never tells you. Curt Herzstark didn't draw that machine to serve the Reich. He drew it to survive long enough to destroy everything it stood for. And the most terrifying part? It worked. Vienna, 1920. You can smell the coffee from 3 streets away. Rich, dark, the kind that arrives in a small white cup with a glass of water on the side and an expectation that you will sit and think for a while. The city hums with the particular energy of a place that believes, despite all evidence, that civilization is permanent. Curt Herzstark is born into this world on January 26, 1902. His father, Wilhelm Herzstark, is a Jewish industrialist who has built one of Vienna's most respected precision instrument companies from nothing. His mother, Marie, is an Austrian Lutheran. Curt grows up between 2 worlds, Jewish heritage and Christian upbringing, in a city that has not yet decided what to do with people who occupy the space between categories. From the beginning, Curt's hands speak a language his mouth never quite finds words for. He is not loud, not performative, not the kind of boy who announces what he can do. He simply does it. At 8, he takes apart his father's most expensive pocket watch and reassembles it in the dark, by feel alone, because he wants to understand whether the mechanism would work without his eyes confirming it. It does. His father discovers this the next morning, lifts the watch, listens to its tick, and says nothing for a very long time. Then he says, "You will work with me." By his 20s, Curt is the technical director of Rechenmaschinenwerk Austria, his father's factory. The company makes precision instruments, measuring devices, calculating machines, the invisible infrastructure of a modern world that runs on numbers. And in 1938, in a small workshop on the upper floor of the factory, Curt Herzstark finishes the design that has consumed him for a decade. A calculator so small it fits in the palm of your hand. Cylindrical, elegant, capable of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, all mechanical, no electricity, no battery, no fragility. A precision instrument so compact and so perfect that it seems to belong to a future the present hasn't earned yet. He calls it the Curta. He is ready to manufacture it. And then, on March 12, 1938, Nazi Germany annexes Austria. The future Curt Herzstark had built his life toward dissolves in a single morning. The factory is immediately commandeered by the German army. No more calculators, only instruments for war. You learn quickly in occupied Vienna which face to wear. Curt Herzstark wears the face of a man who is simply doing his job. He is half Jewish, a gray area in a system that despises gray areas. His mother's Lutheran blood offers thin protection. His father's factory, now producing military equipment with impressive precision, offers slightly more. He keeps his head down. He produces flawless work. He does not speak of the Curta, does not mention the drawings locked in his desk, does not give the officers who walk his factory floor any reason to look at him more closely than they already do. For 5 years, this works. In 1943, it stops working. 2 of Curt's employees are discovered listening to BBC radio broadcasts and transcribing them for distribution. Curt tries to intercede. This is the moment that costs him everything. The charges are fabricated. helping Jews and subversive elements, indecent contact with Aryan women. First, a Jewish prison in Prague, then the transport east, then Buchenwald. The smell reaches you before the gates do. Coal smoke and something underneath it that your brain refuses to name. The camp spreads across the Ettersberg Hill in Thuringia like a wound in the landscape. Barracks, factories, watchtowers, wire. 56,000 prisoners inside walls that the town of Weimar, 7 kilometers away, has learned to pretend it cannot see. Curt Herzstark is classified as an intelligence sklav, an intelligence slave. He is sent to the Gustloffwerk, a weapons manufacturing facility that sits adjacent to the camp and uses its prisoners as free labor. He makes precision instruments for the Reich, for the war machine that has destroyed his factory, consumed his city, and is in the process of murdering everyone who shares his father's blood. Every measurement is perfect, because imperfect measurements get you killed. It begins with a conversation that Curt Herzstark will spend the rest of his life trying to explain. One of the SS camp commandants calls him into an office. Clean, warm, a world away from the factory floor. There is coffee on the desk, real coffee, the smell of which hits Curt like a physical force. The commandant looks at his file. "We know you are working on a calculating machine. We will permit you to make drawings. If the thing is worth its salt, we will give it to the Führer after the final victory. He will certainly make you an Aryan for that. You are that man. You have 3 seconds to decide. If you refuse, you return to the general population, the quarries, the stone details, the slow arithmetic of starvation and exhaustion that turns a man into a number in a ledger crossed out. If you agree, you are making a machine for Adolf Hitler. You are bending the most precise and beautiful work of your life into the service of the regime that is murdering your people. You are, in the most literal possible sense, making a pact with the devil." Curt Herzstark looks at the commandant. He agrees. "For me," he will say decades later, "that was the first time I thought to myself, my God, if you do this, you can extend your life." And then and there I started to draw the Curta the way I had imagined it. Night after night. After the mandatory 12-hour shift in the factory, after the roll calls, the cold, the hunger that hollows a man from the inside. Curt Herzstark bent over his drawings and built the machine that was supposed to be a gift for Hitler. He received extra rations. He received slightly warmer quarters. He received the single most precious commodity in Buchenwald: time. Outside those walls, the world was consuming itself. The Eastern Front was collapsing. Allied bombers were turning German cities into archaeology. The Reich that was supposed to last 1,000 years was discovering that 1,000 years had been optimistic by approximately 987 years. Inside, Curt drew. He drew with the knowledge, never spoken, never written, never whispered even to himself, that if the Reich won, the Curta would go to Hitler. And with the knowledge that if the Reich lost, the machine would be free. And so would he. The question was simply, which would happen first? The drawings grow more detailed, more complete. The Curta is taking shape on paper in a way it never quite had in Vienna, because in Vienna, Curt had time to second-guess himself, to revise, to set the work aside and return to it fresh. In Buchenwald, there is no fresh. There is only the drawing board and the pencil, and the hours between roll calls. Extremity, it turns out, is a remarkable clarifier. The machine Curt is designing will fit in the palm of a hand. It will perform any arithmetic operation through pure mechanical ingenuity. No electricity, no electronics, no dependence on anything that can fail. Built on a principle first described by Leibniz in 1685, refined through centuries of mathematical thinking, and now being perfected by a half-Jewish prisoner in a death camp at the precise moment that the civilization which produced Leibniz is burning itself to the ground. There is something in this that Curt does not allow himself to think about too directly, because thinking about it too directly might make the pencil stop. and the pencil cannot stop. 1944 becomes 1945. The Allied advance is no longer a rumor. The bombers overhead are closer. The guards' faces have changed. Something behind the certainty has cracked. Curt keeps drawing. On April 11, 1945, Buchenwald is liberated. Curt Herzstark walks out of Buchenwald carrying the completed drawings of the Kurta. Every line perfect, every measurement exact. The gift that was supposed to go to Hitler is going somewhere else entirely. The war ends. The Reich that was supposed to last 1,000 years has lasted 12. Curt Herzstark is 43 years old. He is alive. The drawings are intact. He approaches Rheinmetall Borsig with his plans. 3 prototypes are built. They are extraordinary. Small as a pepper grinder, capable of any arithmetic function, mechanically flawless. The first time a person holds a completed Kurta and operates it, the expression on their face is always the same. It can't be real. But the Soviets advance from the east. Curt, who has already survived one totalitarian system, has no interest in testing a second. He flees to Liechtenstein, a country so small it barely interrupts the landscape between Austria and Switzerland, where a company called Contina AG agrees to manufacture the Kurta. The factory opens in 1947. Between 1947 and 1972, approximately 140,000 Kurta calculators are produced. They become the standard precision calculating instrument for rally car drivers, surveyors, scientists, engineers, and navigators across the world. Then the cruelties that survival had postponed begin to arrive. Curt returns to Vienna to find that his brother Ernst has taken over the family business while he was in Buchenwald. Legally. With the smooth efficiency of a man who understood that his brother's absence created an opportunity. The factory that Curt's father built. The name. The legacy. Gone. The Liechtenstein factory, which should have made Curt wealthy, is structured in ways that ensure most of the profit flows elsewhere. The man who designed the machine, who refined it across years of forced labor in a death camp, who carried its drawings out through the gates of Buchenwald in April 1945, dies in 1988 in modest circumstances. Not poor, but not what he deserved. History does not automatically correct its own injustices. Here is what they never put in the textbooks. In 1944, inside Buchenwald concentration camp, a half-Jewish prisoner made a deal with the SS. He drew a machine for Hitler. He bent his greatest work, the most precise and beautiful thing his mind had ever produced, into the service of the regime that was murdering his people. And in doing so, he survived. And in surviving, he built 140,000 machines that carried his name and his genius into a future the Reich never lived to see. The Kurta is, among collectors and engineers, spoken of with a reverence usually reserved for cathedrals. Not because of what it can calculate, but because of where it was calculated. Because every gear, every cylinder, every stepped drum in that small machine was designed in the margins of hell. By a man who understood, with the clarity that only extremity provides, that the pencil could not stop. The machine was not a gift for Hitler. The machine was a reason to stay alive long enough to give it to someone else. History forgot Curt Herzstark. The machine remembers him. Every time someone holds a Kurta, in a museum, in a collector's cabinet, in the careful hands of someone who understands what they are holding the proof that precision is a form of defiance. That the most revolutionary act in the darkest place on earth was a man at a drawing board, making something perfect for a future that hadn't arrived yet. And refusing, with every line, every measurement, every night after the guards stopped watching, to stop believing it would.